Hi, I'm Jared Dillingham at Kartchner Caverns State Park, just east of Tucson, a relatively recent discovery here. The cave system only discovered about 50 years ago and only opened to the public in 1999. Well, it doesn't look like much from the outside, but under these mounds is a world that went untouched for thousands of years until a couple explorers found it in the 70s. More than 50 years later, Kartchner Caverns, east of Tucson, remains one of the most stunning and well-preserved caves in the United States.
It is one of the most geologically diverse caves in the world.
Chelsea Ballard is a cave scientist. She worked at Mammoth Cave National Park and others before coming to Kartchner Caverns, and she's one of a handful of people allowed to explore and study all 2.5 miles of the cave system, often crawling through tight spots and down tunnels, unsure where they'll lead.
You can climb Mount Everest and you can see the ending point. In a cave, you cannot see the ending point. Knowing what's around the next bend or what could be there to study, to add to science. So since second grade, that's been my goal, and I'm still following that path.
This is the path the rest of us will follow. About 1 mile of the cave is open to the public. It stays a humid 70 degrees inside year-round. Part of Kartchner Caverns closes each spring as thousands of bats move in to raise their young. If you look closely, you'll see a bat that died in the cave 50,000 years ago. It's now preserved in a calcite formation. It takes a few weeks to clean up after the bats move out each fall. Scientists say ancient bat droppings have shed light on changes to the climate and ecosystem over the centuries. And Kartchner Caverns is what's considered a living cave. Water still drips and formations are still growing. Here's an example. You could probably tell why they call this a yolk. And it's one of a few formations named after breakfast foods. You could see why they refer to this as bacon. There's a focus on preservation here. Tourists are not allowed inside on their own. They can't even bring phones or cameras in with them to make sure nothing gets dropped on the delicate formations.
And so a lot of people over time have unfortunately trashed caves or didn't quite understand the conservation behind it, but thankfully it has been protected since day one in 1974.
And you'll learn about all kinds of interesting discoveries here underground, including a series of large ancient mammals found dead underground from 10,000 years ago, but I'll let the tour guides explain all that. I'll see you next time.